So we're unfortunately we're down to the last week. We will practice 4 times this week. Today, Wednesday, Thursday night, and Saturday will be our spring practice finale. Will be a big weekend for everybody. We got football, we got baseball, we got softball. A lot going on campus, a lot going on in the Stillwater community. So we're looking forward to a good week. Just practice, yes. We don't have enough big guys up front to split up and have a game.
So what kind of things will you do kind of to showcase things for the fans?
Well, we'll have a full practice. We'll have individual drills. We'll have some 7-on-7. We'll have some inside drill. We'll have a team thud period, which would be just like a spring game with the exception it'll just be offense versus defense. That way, if we have to rotate linemen in, we have them available on that particular sideline.
Anyone specific you're wanting to get a better look at this last week?
Not really, just everybody. They're all getting good reps. The young guys are getting quality work. They're practicing hard. I feel good about our concepts, our schemes, feel good about our coaches, feel good about the adjustments with Coach Mason. Players are getting to know those guys. So we've had a really good spring. I just wish we had I wish we had 12 linemen. Then we could go 6 on each side and play a game, but we just don't have that luxury at this time to do that. So to go out Saturday and practice like we're going to practice today will be more beneficial for the fans than to try to split up and play some kind of a game with players switching sidelines.
Does that depth at all concern you? I know some of it's injury related a little bit this spring, but does that concern you at all, the offensive line depth moving forward? Or?
We will have 25 offensive linemen in August, so we'll be just fine. We just don't have them right now.
Depth issue aside, what have you seen from your offensive line this spring?
Well, they're doing well. Most of these guys are first-year players now because we've got 4 starters that are in rehab right now, or recovery period, and so these guys are, for the most part, new. So they're getting full speed work, which is good, in the fact that if they get thrown into the fire in August, they've had a lot of reps this spring.
You've talked a lot about junior college guys, how sometimes they take a year. When you kind of would like for them to come right away, they need a year. What about Caleb Etienne? How much has he advanced?
So he's been here. Here already, and he's come a long ways in the last month and a half. He still has a ways to go. The summer will be important for him. The new rule they put in effect last week that allows us to coach in the summer, different than we've ever had in college football before, will be a big piece for a guy like Caleb to continue to develop him over the summer.
You talked about 2 weeks ago about your analysts and how many you have, and we kind of know what they do during the season. They work ahead for you, but what do those analysts do in the spring?
They're involved with everything we do, the book work, all the analytical side of it, preparation for August practice, study video, write up reports on different parts of the game, whatever they're how the game has changed in their opinion based on our schemes and the teams we're going to play. I think the best way to describe it is they do a lot of analytical work through the summer and give our guys information in preparation for August.
I've seen Derek over there conversing with Gary Gibbs. I mean, what kind of advantage is that for Derek to have a guy like with his experience like Coach Gibbs to pick his brain and discuss things with?
Well, I think that's a good question for Derek. I would hate to speak for him. I know that it's an advantage for me as a head coach to have the analyst in place. I have 3 of them that I kind of call the Denny's Club, guys that have been involved in the game for almost 50 years that I visit with continuously throughout the year. I would guess that having Coach Gibbs, who's coached at our level for 20 plus, been a head coach, been a coordinator at a big level, big high level in college, and been in the NFL a long time. I would think that'd be advantageous for any coach.
So when you think about this spring as a whole, what are your biggest takeaways from the spring?
Well, we got a good group of guys. We got guys that work hard, guys that like to be around each other, want to compete. don't have many issues. Guys took care of each other in the spring and competed, and so it's another step in keeping this organization running the way it's run over the last 18 years.
You added 2 legacy guys, Solomon Wright and Rylan this spring. What was it like not only bringing those guys here, but kind of bringing those families back in?
Anytime we can tie in former players who have relationships or kids that want to be a part of our organization, they get first shot at it. As we continue to hire former players and people that have ties to our organization, it makes us stronger because they get it, they understand the culture and what we've done here for a long time.
Mike, in the winter and spring, on a typical week, what's your interaction like with your offensive coordinator? How often do you sit down with him and go over stuff?
In the winter, are you talking about during the season?
Off season, like I still
off season.
Winter and spring.
We talk about kind of who we were during the season, what we think we are based on personnel, upcoming season. They give me their opinion on what they think are the best things that we can do. I give them my opinion, and that'll continue through spring ball. Then I'll finalize that with them over the next couple weeks and make sure we're all set up for summer training and what our goals and plans are for each phase as we move forward for August.
Is it like that every offseason, or is that dependent on how the offense performed the previous year?
Every offseason, for the most part.
You don't really change the schedule or anything like that?
No. I mean, I have my opinion on some things, but I have a good feel for what they're doing, and so if it's gray, I let them make the decision. It's their jobs, it's their future, it's their decision. And we really haven't had any issues with that. Most of the time, we're on the same page.
The longer a guy's been with you, do you have less time you feel the need to spend with him in that regard?
That's right, less time. Like Dunn's been with me 11 years, but only 3 as a coordinator. But he and I pretty much think alike. We have a pretty good feel for. He knows what I want basically, and I have a pretty good feel for what I'm going to get from his group. So there would be less time.
We've heard a lot about what Coach Mason is like on the field as a guy, how energetic he is, things like that. What's his personality like away from the field, in meeting room or just hanging out away from the field?
Very similar to what you see out here. He's high energy. He's got great people skills. Players are attracted to him. His communication, in my opinion, with our staff has been excellent. He's a very low ego, low maintenance coach, which means it's easy for him to get along with his staff. We haven't been able to spend as much time away from football based on he's been really busy learning, and he's going to be in transition with his family right now. But I look forward to getting to know him more over the next few months before we get started in August.
For more information, you can visit tulsaworld.com.